and welcome back, or welcome if you are new here. I'm Andrea M, and this is the AUSXFILES, The Truth Is Out Back. Or is it? In today's video, we will be exploring several disturbing urban legends about New South Wales' jewel in our crown, Sydney. From rumours of a subterranean civilization far below the city streets, to a last disturbing photograph taken mere hours before the tragic Luna Park ghost train fire of 1979. Join me as we explore Sydney as you may have never seen her before. But before we delve into the black heart of one of our major capital cities, I'd like to take a moment to invite you to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button to make sure that you never miss a video. Smash that like button, share with your freaky fact-loving friends, and drop a comment or two in the comment section below on what you thought of today's video. But as always, please keep it respectful so that we can continue to make YouTube a welcoming place for everyone. And you may have noticed I'm very rugged up today. We're like 2 or 3 days out from starting winter here in Australia. It is snowing just up the road from me, so it's extremely cold here today. I think the last time I checked it was like 9 degrees or something like that. So I've got my beanie on, I just crocheted for myself. I've got my scarf, I've got my coffee, because yay, I can have coffee again now. I'm really starting to kick the histamine thing's butt. So I can have coffee again, and I can also have one of these delightful cookies that my lovely husband made yesterday. So let's just dive on into the video. And yes, I am starting to feel much better after the COVID. Still a little fatigued, so that's why the videos have been slow, in case you guys have been wondering. But I'm feeling much better every day, and I'll be back to my regular posting schedule very, very soon. So thanks to everybody who's been very patient with me over this time. So grab yourself a coffee or a hot chocolate or a cold drink if you're watching this from somewhere where it's actually warm at the moment. Lucky you. And grab a snack, and let's jump on into today's video. Number 1, the bodies in the bridge. Also known as the giant coat hanger, the Sydney Harbour Bridge was first opened in 1932. It took an enormous effort to build, with workers being pulled to work on the project from all parts of the world. 3 ships were constructed exclusively for the task of carrying materials from the Moruya quarry for the massive 89-metre pylons. There are 16 officially reported deaths as a result of the construction work, but legend goes that there were another 3 that were hushed up. It is believed that those 3 were workers that have fallen into the huge pylon, and being as they were travelling contractors, their disappearances weren't noticed for weeks. Because of the gigantic size of the supporting pillars, their bodies were too difficult to retrieve and were instead entombed in concrete and remain there to this day. This then led to abounding rumours that the Sydney Harbour Bridge is haunted, which is still believed to be true. And I have actually had the pleasure of walking across the Sydney Harbour Bridge many years ago whilst on holiday with my husband, and while it's extremely beautiful, there is a real eeriness about it. And we also went to the top of one of the pylons on a guided tour, and they even have like a little video and a history lesson that speak of the unfortunate souls who may have fallen to their deaths inside the structures. Fact or fiction? You decide. Number 2, the devil among us. This one gives me the absolute chills. And if you watch my previous video on the Luna Park ghost train fire on Real Crime Down Under, you will immediately recognise this beautiful little boy and why this photo is so chilling. And I didn't uncover this strange and eerie twist in the Luna Park tragedy until I started actually researching for this video. I didn't find this while I was researching the actual fire, the video that I did before this. So the photograph I'm about to show you is the last photo ever taken of Damien Godson, mere hours before he, his younger brother Craig, and his father John were tragically killed in the fire, along with 4 boys from the nearby college. And if you want to know more about the Sydney Ghost Train Fire and you haven't seen it yet, I will be leaving a link to my video about the Sydney Ghost Train Fire in 1979 at Luna Park in the description box below. So as I was saying, this is the last picture ever taken of 6-year-old Damien Godson. It is also the reason this story adds to the absolute horror of that night. On June 9, 1979, the Godson family were waiting at Circular Quay for a ferry to take them across to Luna Park, when the mysterious man wearing a satanic-looking mask and loincloth approached them silently and placed his hand on the child's right shoulder. The parents quickly snapped the photo and then forgot all about it as the man walked away. At around 10:15 that night, a fire broke out on the ghost train ride and took the lives of Damien, his father, his younger brother, and the 4 boys from the college. The fire safety measures at the ride were inadequate and the park management could not contain it. It says in the research here about the photo that the cause of the ignition could not be pinpointed, and to this day, if you've also watched the video, you will know that they have still not reached a determined conclusion of what started the fire, but you need to watch the video to get a better understanding of why that determination was never reached. So I urge you to go watch that probably after this one, or if you want to pause this one and go and watch that, I'd encourage you to do it because it does explain a lot. But this does kind of tie in a little bit and it's quite eerie. Now, this photo was found later by Jenny Godson, the sole surviving member of the family, as she was looking back at pictures taken that day. And if you haven't again watched the video, there is a reason why Jenny was not on the train with her family. But if you want to know why, you need to go watch the full video. So comparisons between the costumed man and the satanic deity Moloch, who is believed to prefer children being burned alive as a sacrifice to him. However, the terrifying figure was never seen again, and the reasons for the fire were not quite supernatural, but this is certainly an eerie and horrifying coincidence. And honestly, when I saw this photo and I realised that it was Damien Godson, that this thing had his arm around, it was just like, oh my god, that was like chills. And to know that's the last living memory that anybody managed to capture of Damien Godson, it's extraordinarily sad. And if you do go to watch the video about the ghost train fire, I will warn you now that you're going to need tissues and then you're going to need anger management for the second half. The first half is very heavy. The second half is just, you'll be angry. But I think it is a story that really needs to be told, which is why I did the video. And you'll see how this photograph links up to the other events that happened that night. So that it all links up together in a very eerie way. But yeah, there was nothing supernatural about the ghost train fire, as you will discover in the video. Moving on to number 3, the monster in the railway tunnels. So Sydney sits atop a vast network of railway tunnels. It's like Swiss cheese down there. Naturally, many of these tunnels are long abandoned, with some of them dating back all the way to the 1930s. A lot of these tunnels have been used, and maybe still are, by unsavoury activities by characters of ill repute, from simple smuggling to dead body disposal. However, people say that something far more sinister than criminals lurk in the tunnels. A tall, pale and completely hairless monster preys on those oblivious enough to enter its hunting grounds. It is said to take eyeballs as grisly trophies and that it moves with considerable agility. People have said it has a strong aversion to light and can even be repelled by it, but only for a short while. There is no concrete evidence of the tunnel monster. As far as I know, nothing has ever been captured on film or photograph, but it's not hard to guess why. It's certainly not a journey I'll be making anytime soon, and I mean, if light's only going to repel this dude for a few minutes, I don't think you'd really have a lot of time to get a video of this guy and get yourself out of the tunnel if he is in fact down there. And no, me and my team will not be investigating the Sydney Underground tunnels anytime soon, absolutely not. I'm very claustrophobic and I have an aversion to things that like to crawl on walls. Like, you know, you see things on some of the other videos, you know, and they're crawly things. Oh my god, I can't stand creepy, crawly, hairless anything. And you'd have to think if he's living down there in the tunnels, it'd be like cold and yuck. Just no. Just any cold, anything wet, drippy and spooky and slimy. Oh, no, hell to the no. Moving along to number 4, now that I've had my freak out. the Black Ghost of the Blue Mountains. And we have covered her before, but I decided to throw her in here again because she is a terrific character. So there is some weird connection between Australia and girls haunting roads, as we've seen before in some previous videos. This one, however, is dressed in black and has no interest in riding in your car, but has nonetheless caused a few deaths to motorists swerving out of her road, panicked because they think they're going to hit an actual person. Reports of her appearance go back almost a century, and truckies still regularly say that they've seen her. It's believed the ghost is of one Carolyn Collins, born Carolyn James, a child bride at the extreme age of 12. Yeah, oh my God, even here in Australia back in the colonial times there were child brides, and that's just 12 years old. My God, I just can't even imagine what that would be like. Oh my God, that's ew. Okay. Her husband William was the black sheep of his family that held the famous Collins Inn, and their marriage did not go off swimmingly. A year later, she moved in with her sister, who was married to a thug by the name of John Walsh. Carolyn herself had a history with John, and one night the bitter William confronted them both outside the pub. Walsh tried to attack him, but Carolyn held back, urging William to escape, which he did. In the morning, however, the body of Carolyn Collins was found near the spot of the ordeal, with her skull smashed in with a large rock. The ghost in black can be spotted near the Second Victoria Pass Bridge, originally built by convicts but recently modernised. The appearance of the wraith curiously coincides with a stretch often forming dangerous black ice. Number 5, the hero of Waterloo Hotel. One legend surrounding the hero of Waterloo Hotel in Millers Point, classified by the Heritage Council and the National Trust. The hotel's cellar reveals signs of a questionable past, with shackles on the walls and the evidence of a tunnel opening visible. The story goes that a tunnel ran from the hotel to the harbour for the purposes of smuggling rum off the boats. It is also rumoured the tunnel was connected to a trapdoor that served to kidnap young drunks who would wake up on a sailboat. Murky underworld stories sure are made of these, and can you imagine like being some young rowdy guy, you're out for a night with your mates and you get a little bit over the limit. I don't know how else to say it, like back then, blotto, whatever, and you pass out with your mates, probably upstairs, and then you wake up and you're on a sailing ship. God only knows where the next day. Wow. I know things like that went on back then, but you think Australia's like this really innocent sort of a country. Oh boy. Oh, it's really not. Okay, we move on to number 6, the Cockatoo Island tunnels. So this comes with a dark history of penal settlements, hard labour, docked ships, homing orphan boys, and tunnelling through sandstone as a far cry from today's UNESCO heritage-listed Cockatoo Island, where people can camp for a weekend away from it all on Sydney Harbour. The tunnels on Cockatoo Island create considerable intrigue. From 1839 or 40, convict labour was used to cut deep into the rock to construct underground silos for the colony's grain supply. A 180-metre long dogleg tunnel was built on the Sydney Harbour Island in 1915. Winding through the belly of Cockatoo Island, the tunnel was used to move workers and materials from one side of the island to the other. During World War II, the island's tunnels were transformed to air raid shelters, including an infirmary located in an annex in the main tunnel. Visitors can take a guided ghost tour at night, complete with the devices used for paranormal activity. You can also hear the grisly and macabre tales of the island's history and decide for yourself what lurks in the dark behind the stories and the old buildings. Number 7. The secret military bunker. During World War II, Bankstown was a hub of military activity as the airport was home to several fighter units. As a result, the military set up loads of dummy houses to make the airport look like a farm and built several secret bunkers underground where training, plotting and other covert operations took place. Several of the bunkers are public knowledge, but one continues to elude conspiracy theorists. Rumoured to house military secrets, it is also said to lie untouched beneath a block of flats in the area. Its steel doors welded shut. Some intrepid explorers claim to have snuck inside in the 1980s to find a vast Indiana Jones-style complex with tunnels connecting to a secret military headquarters nearby. It is also believed that below Sydney, in the vast network of tunnels, that an entire civilization still lurks beneath this city to this day. Still, we have no concrete proof of these eerie Sydney urban legends of tunnel dwellers that have seemingly never seen the light of day. And that brings us to the end of today's video. What do you guys think? Eerie stories and tall tales? Or do you think some of them could be true? Have you ever experienced any of these legends for yourself? I would love to know, so please let me know in the comment section below. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Much love to you all, and I will see you in my next video. Stay safe, stay warm, and I will see you all again soon. Bye.